Greetings and blessings, everyone. I am Sananda. I am the holder of the Office of the Christ Consciousness, and I am in charge of the star seeds who are incarnated upon earth. It is wonderful to be here. It is wonderful to share space and time with you. And I am feeling a sense of peace in the moment. Peacefulness is very important because it allows us the opportunity to access at a deeper level. When we are focused on conflict and when we are focused on trying to figure everything out, we are in a state of confusion. We are in a state of activity that is not very peaceful. Being peaceful is a wonderful avenue to allow us the opportunity to access deeper levels of information that are contained within you. This is something that is vitally important, and I feel it is very important to share this information. What you need to understand is this. When you incarnated into this incarnation, and you have lived your life to that point in your incarnation, that point in your journey, where you have begun to awaken, you begin to realize that there is much more to you than meets the eye. Perhaps you discover that you have the ability of healing. Perhaps you have the ability to see things. Whatever the case may be. Maybe you work in the mainstream, what they term the mainstream. But you are walking your path, you are living your life every day. And so many times I hear people, they ask questions such as, have I lost my abilities? Where is my abilities? Where are the tools that I require, that I need to do what I've come here to this planet to do? And I'm telling you truly that, in all honesty, every tool, everything that you require for your incarnation has been provided for you and has been provided to you. Sometimes there are certain aspects or abilities that you have that you do not require in a particular incarnation, so you are not given that ability. You do not have that ability in your incarnation. Number one, you are not being punished. Number two, no one is trying to keep anything from you. You see. This one has the ability of tremendous sight within himself. And yet in this incarnation, it is dark. He does not see anything. Does that mean that there is something wrong? Not at all. He has all of the tools he needs to do the life that he is here to live. You see, what you require in one incarnation, you may require something entirely different in another incarnation. And what we are trying to tell you in this moment, in as gentle of a way as we can, is the fact that you are lacking nothing. You are missing out on nothing. You have everything you require. Some people will hear this message and go, that can't be true. I know I should have this ability or that ability. So and so told me that I should be able to do this or I should be able to do that. How does so and so know what is within you? Because it is within you, you see. You have all the tools that you require to do what you are here to do. And what you need to understand is, no matter the reason why you are incarnated on this planet at this time, where you are residing, it is ultimately in perfection. Because what you have to understand is, there is not one starseed on this planet that is redundant. Now, someone said to me, because we had a situation arose, there was someone incarnated who had a particular journey, had a particular life path. This life path, on the surface, many people would think anyone could do that life path. But in truth, nobody could do it but this particular individual. This particular individual found out what their life path was. But then what happened? Life happened, and they were faced with certain choices. This life path had to be fulfilled. That individual made a different choice. When that choice was made, it changed everything. They lost what they had, and that was given to somebody else for them to fulfill that path. And then on top of that, you have individuals who make a different choice, and then it is somebody else that has to step in and take over for that person and fulfill their job, if you will. But if you have an individual who is a backup, let's say, who will only step forward if the person who is meant to do it does not, let's say that person steps forward as they are meant to. The person who was the backup, let us say, they have their own walk that they need to walk. They have their own plan. Their plan will only get altered is if they have to step in for an individual who's not here, who's not doing what they're here to do. And believe it or not, that doesn't happen very often. Generally speaking, most starseeds do what they are here to do. But if your focus is on lack, if your focus is, I'm missing something, the only thing that happens in that instance, in that case, is you will end up chasing your own tail. Some individuals look at me and they say, you have it easy. You don't have to incarnate here. And you're right, I don't. And I also know how difficult it is on each one of you. Because believe it or not, I have a tendency to meet up with almost every single one of you. There are a few who do not because of different reasons. There are those of you who will come over to the other side when you are asleep and wish to speak about things. I spend a lot of time with the star seeds. So much so that a very dear friend of mine who is incarnated on this planet, gave me an assignment once. And I find it to be an extremely difficult assignment. But I, Sananda, was caught between a rock and a hard place. Because I expect her to do the assignments I give her, just as I expect other people to do the assignments that I give to them. Because the assignments are always about their highest and greatest good. So when I was told that there was an assignment for me, I couldn't very well be seen not accepting that assignment. And the assignment for me was very simple. Every day to take some time out for myself. And when I received that assignment, of course I said yes, but it also reminded me how important it is for each one of you to look after yourselves even more. Because you are incarnated upon this world, upon this planet, in one of the most extraordinary moments in history. And when I say in history, I am not simply referring to this world. We are part of something extraordinary. We are part of something that is going to assist in shifting the entire multiverse. There are beings out there who are concerned, who are worried, who question why we are doing these things. And I had one of these individuals at a conference that I went to recently. And one of the delegates from this world came up to me, came up to me and said, "What gives you the right to mess with everyone?" And I said, "I am not messing with anyone. I am being of service." And they said, "But we can feel shifts in the currents of energies. And it is originating on that planet called Earth." And I said, "Well, that means that what we are doing is working, and we are doing the job that we are there to do." And he said, "We don't like it." And I said, "Well, I'm not doing it for my health. I'm doing it in service to Source." And when I say Source, I'm talking about Source of the entire universe and multiverse. He still wasn't very happy. So I made a suggestion. I suggested that he incarnate here just once. Even if it was for a very short amount of time. And he asked me why. And I said it because it's the only way you're going to understand what is being created here. And so he said, "Well, I do not have a long period of time in which to do this." And I said, "No problem. I can arrange it to where it'll take 10 minutes of your time. That's it. No more. And it won't be scary, and you won't have to worry about anything. It'll be fine." And he said, "Okay, you're on." I said, "Okay." Now, I like to have a good laugh now and then, and I like to do things to show people where they gain what they need, but I didn't want to create fear in this being. So I made arrangements with a soul who had a body here on the planet, incarnated, and he agreed to give up his body for a period of time so that this being could go in and experience the energies of this world and what was happening from the perspective of an incarnation. Now, I didn't really think that interacting with others would probably be a good idea because he wouldn't know anything of what goes on here. He hasn't gone through the sojourn, the process, the lifetimes like all of you have done. So you're probably wondering who is willing to give up their body for a period of time so this being could come in and experience the energies of this world. And it was a young man who had been in a car accident in what you term the United States, who was in a vegetative state, in a coma, but alive. And so this being entered his body and had to just lay there and feel the energy. Now, I told him 10 minutes of his time, and I kept to my word. It was only 10 minutes of his time. But I want you to also realize that words are very, very powerful. And it is very, very important to remember to listen to the words that are being spoken. If I asked you, who do you want to be? How would you answer that question? So after 10 minutes, he was released from the body. And he said he never wanted to incarnate on this planet ever again. However, he completely understood the energy of this world and what was going on, and for that, he thanked me. In your time on this planet, it was about 10 years. So his reality got thrown out of whack, shall we say. But he understood. So how many of you have put an answer onto the screen? Who do you want to be? I am most interested to see your responses. And so I'm asking you to put in a response to that question. And I will look at the answers and share. And then I'm going to take your questions. Because the point that I am trying to make to all of you right now is a very simple one. Most of you have no idea the lengths each of us has gone to ensure you have everything you need, to ensure that you are looked after. We understand that when you are experiencing something difficult in physical here, you yell and scream at us. You beg us to assist you. And then you wonder why when we do not. We don't view things here quite like you do. This is but one incarnation. We have such great love for you all. So my question to you is, who do you want to be? So we will see yes, the universe is still expanding. That is very, very true. Samantha, you'll never be a Batman. Very interesting answers. Now, here's the deal. I asked you who you want to be. So those of you who said that you want to be you, meaning you want to be who you are supposed to be, that is the correct answer. If you answered like you want to be an all nations firekeeper from Peter, that would be acceptable if I asked what you want to do with your life. You see, I have people ask, this question a lot. Who do you want to be? And so I thought about that question a great deal. And I wanted to come up with an answer that was more conducive, that was more accurate. Now, one person said they wanted to be the best version of themselves. So I'm going to give you an answer that I gave to this very same question when I was asked this question not that long ago. I simply want to be my authentic self. That is the answer, in a nutshell. In its simplest form, when you focus on that, when you make that your mantra, your affirmation, each and every day, the universe will hear this. The more you put your love into this, the more you put your passion into this, to simply be your authentic self, the more you let go of needing things, the more you let go of expectations, the more you think you have to be this or that in order to be your authentic self. the more you let go of all of those things and simply focus on one thing: to be your authentic self. The universe will begin to rearrange itself to match the picture of reality that you are creating. This does not mean that you will have access to every single answer that you may want. But if your focus is on being your authentic self, that alone will assist you in connecting more fully with spirit, connecting more fully with your true home, connecting more fully with each other. Too many times, people walk around and the question that pops into the mind is, what mask are they wearing today? Well, I have to wear this mask for my family. I have to wear this mask for my friends. I have to wear this mask at work. I have to wear this mask when I'm at this thing. Next thing you know, they have a half a dozen masks that they wear daily. And when an individual does that, they completely lose sight of who they are. They lose their authentic self. So if your focus is on being your authentic self, and this is what you are striving for in all aspects of your life, that does not mean that if you are with your family and they think that believing in these sorts of things like, I don't know, like channeling and healing and stuff, if they think it's all hogwash, that doesn't mean you go to your family's house and say, well, sit down, because I'm going to tell you all about healing and channeling and things like this. You don't need to do that. That simply causes you issues and problems and heartache. Makes you want to put on masks. Part of the key is knowing who to speak to and who not to speak to about these things. And that happens through discernment within, through interacting with your own true self within, which happens to be more enhanced when you are focused on being your authentic self. You might get the idea that there is a theme to this talk today. And the theme is the authentic self. If you are focused on being your authentic self, it will assist in aligning you with the pathway you're here to walk, no matter what that might be. It's about being true to who you are, true to your heart, true to what you feel. This is my message to you today. Be your authentic self. I will now take questions, so please feel free to type away and provide me with interesting questions. I like interesting questions. They're most interesting to answer. Angie, your father has had a heart attack this morning, and you are headed to Canberra where he is going to have an operation. And you are feeling blessed that you're aware and trusting in yourself so that you can send your medical team in to provide assistance And the thing to remember is, when doing so, it is what is ever for the highest and greatest good of all concerned. Each individual has their own particular path. And when we are talking about our physical family, we have a very strong connection with them. So I will, when you get to the hospital and when you are waiting for him in his operation, you think of me or you call upon me, and I will be there with you for this situation. I am most happy to do so. Very true, Betty. Masks only hurt you. Samantha, you have a thing about Batman. My goodness, there was nothing wrong with Robin. This is from Leslie. You noticed a strange mark or imprint above your right eyebrow. This appeared after a dream or other dimensional experience that you had. Am I able to explain further? The bottom line is, Leslie, is sometimes, and in your case, this is the case that I am picking up on, that I am feeling, is the fact that it is twofold. It had to do with something that occurred with you, but it's also there and noticeable to let you know that what you experienced wasn't just a dream, it was real. And sometimes it is very important to remember that sometimes these things happen because it's important to them on the other side, so for them to let you know in some way that there are things happening and that it is real and that it's not a fantasy and that it's actually part of your reality. So it is nothing to be concerned about, I can assure you. Paula, will you be able to communicate with your guides soon? I'm aware of the fact that you are asking the question about consciously interacting with your guides. What I'm going to say to you is you are already communicating with your guides. I believe a few weeks ago you had an inspiration, an idea that made you very excited. That idea did not come from you, it came from your guides. Now, interacting with your guides is about opening your heart. It's about feeling. For this one here, he interacts with his guides all the time, but he does not hear anything. So it's about trusting in your heart and connecting within your heart. Heart, you see, the heart is the key. It's vitally important, and it is the key to this entire situation. Remember that. You have all the tools that you need for your incarnation. You lack nothing. Remember that, Paula. Ursula, you are curious about the appropriate way to use rainbow energy for healing, and how do you incorporate crystals? There are those who do crystal healings. This one created a healing called the crystal cocoon with crystals and stuff. It's about trusting your intuition. As far as rainbow energy goes, normally with healing, I usually use healing energy, not rainbow energy. That's just me, though. I mean, in order to utilize a particular energy, what you have to do is you have to invoke it. You have to create the passageway that allows that energy to flow through you and to assist you in accomplishing whatever it is you are doing. As far as the crystals go, it is about trusting your intuition, because for one person you may use a half a dozen different kinds of crystals, and the next time you work on that very same person, you may only use one of those half a dozen crystals on them the next time, and you'll be using all these other different kinds of crystals on them. So it depends upon each individual time. It depends upon the person. It depends upon how much you trust yourself. Just saying. Well, young James, why don't you tell me what your question was? I wasn't there when you did this, so it might help if I know what your question is so that I can ascertain the answer more clearly for you. Betty, you have a question that when you were 9, you saw a movie, Escape to Witch Mountain. You're wanting to know if this movie was created as bringing in the idea of star children. This was your first experience of knowing that there was more to the universe than you have been led to believe. Now, the first thing that I'm going to say to you, Betty, is you already know the answer to that question. The person who created the movie was given the idea for the movie to introduce that concept to this world. So that is true. Linda, we have met several times. That is very true. Now, this is an extremely good question. So, to Hal Kirby, you get a gold star from me on this one. Are there humans that aren't starseeds that are healers, mediums, etc.? As far as I'm aware, there are no mediums who are not a starseed. However, there are those who are not starseeds who are healers. There are those individuals who are not starseeds who are highly intuitive. What is the purpose of starseeds being on this planet? It is the evolution and ascension of the native human population, the humanity of Earth. So, just as there are those who move out quicker, more quickly than other people, the same in this area as well. But generally, mediums, channelers, these types of people, readers, they generally are all starseeds because, generally speaking, these people, except for mediums, are generally doing work for starseeds. Mediums, however, are their basic premise or their two main focuses is to either eradicate or create healing for those who have either crossed over or those remaining here, or to demonstrate to people that when life finishes here on this planet, it is not the end. So Tina, you have always been curious of the gods and goddesses. Are they real or are they projections of humanity? Depends upon which ones you are referring to. The Greek gods and goddesses and the Egyptian gods and goddesses were real extraterrestrials, to be sure. The Roman gods and goddesses were not. The Roman gods and goddesses were in fact created from the Greek gods and goddesses. The Mayans and there are others who were real. Krishna was real, as an example. Odin was real, is real. But their point of when they were here was the same as for other individuals as well who have been here, which is to move humanity forward, to move them along, to get them to expand their thinking and their way of thinking and things like this. So that was the purpose of them. Yes, Ursula, my friend, did. Heather, you were sitting quietly on Tuesday asking for help with a situation. You say I gave you a message and you doubted it was genuinely you. Well, Heather, work on your discernment because it was me. Many times when they have these experiences, Leslie, they won't remember all of the aspects of it. So it is important to remember that you simply go with it and recall that which you need to. And so the other things that you've been given, if and when you need that later on, they will pop up and you'll be able to access that information and that energy. That is why it's given to you. Peter, you had a guide tell you in a dream recently, when you get it, you will get it all at once. You were thinking it was about a download, but you're not sure. You're asking what I think about this, when you should expect it. It wasn't me. I agree with you that it was one of your guides. I would say it's a guide who actually comes from the same place you come from. As far as when to expect it, have no expectations. It will come when it comes. Everything in divine time, divine order, and divine rightness. No matter what you do, you will not rush it. And what they are talking about is an understanding. Becky, you've had some strange dreams lately. You feel that there is something major coming. Technically, you're not missing anything. And something major has come and is gone. There are other things that are coming as well. We generally will not talk very much with regards to what is coming. It is a simple situation, if you will, that It is a simple situation that sometimes some beings become dramatic, and they will pass this on to you when you receive that message, and so you feel it very strongly as well. There is nothing to be concerned about, though, nothing to worry about, truly. Um, Judith, you've been having a certain person send psychic attacks your way, although, according to you, she may not be fully conscious of it, and even perhaps in her sleep state. It has been frightening and confusing, but you have more clarity now after a higher self and past life reading from Anita. Now you are hearing the reminder about keeping it simple and wishing to simply be your authentic self. What you need to do is you need to set up protection. It is one of those things when someone is not consciously doing this, it is difficult to try and talk to them and to demonstrate to them what they are doing. So you simply set up protection so that it no longer affects you, and you simply focus on your own self. That is the most important aspect. Have I ever heard of three-strand DNA? Yes, I have. Thank you for asking. Something is coming, but it's not need to be worried about. Athena, is the Federation still using channeling implants? Generally, no. There are certain ones who are still channeling for the Federation who have these channeling implants. But generally with them, once they have been implanted, they remain until the physical passes over, and then they are retrieved. They are no longer using it because the one downside to it is it's too easily interfered with, and they have found that it is too easily compromised. Judith, the situation is jealousy, okay, and it is also confusion on their part. Put up protection. It is very, very simple to do. And just send her love and allow. Just do that. Lucas, you have no specific question. I'm drawn to everyone. So the one thing that I would have to say to you, you need to focus more on loving yourself and trusting yourself. That is what you need to do the most right now, and that is where your focus needs to be. Ursula, can you use etheric crystals? Some people can. Not everyone can, because not everyone can access them. Well, Angie, with your question on DNA, I'm not actually the right person to speak about DNA, but what I can do, I have a friend who is very, very knowledgeable in this area and very good, and he and I have had a couple of conversations with regards to doing a series of activations specifically for DNA. So when that happens, I will let you know, because it will be a specific program of activations for each individual. So certain information will need to be gathered and the process and everything like that. So I will let you um, let he will let you know when that happens, because he wasn't actually aware of that, but he will be aware of it after this channeling. So he will get together with the right individual. James, you think the question was, who are you? And the answer was, you are. And now you're wanting more information about the answer. When you look in the mirror, what you see is you here. The answer of you are gives you the opportunity to tune into your own soul to answer that question. And the reason for the answer is because it's time for you to connect more fully with who you are, which is also one of the reasons why you've made a decision that you have recently made as well. Glennis Young, the past couple of weeks before you awoke from dream state, you saw white noise and sometimes people. 2 days ago, you went through this again and saw symbols on pillars and thought that you've got this. And you're asking if this has any relevance to your journey. It does have relevance to your journey, but it's also trying to remind you of something from the past that is also very relevant to your present and to your future. Ursula, what is the connection between Yeshua and Sananda? Well, I am the holder of the office of the Christ, and Yeshua was the one who made the Christ consciousness manifest upon earth. I think that's a pretty good connection. Robert, the first part of your statement, you feel that you are a starseed. The answer is correct. Can I tell you where you come from? No. Okay, we are going to be finishing questions very soon. So we are on Allison's question. Last week you had a dream, or was it? You fell asleep asking your home planet to welcome you. It was that very different sleep for you. I felt something happened, but always. Allison, yes, you did connect with home. You connected with true family. And you do connect with that more than you realize. And you really need to focus on lifting that doubt off of you and really focusing on trust and faith within yourself. Heather, can I confirm what work you do in your sleep state? Well, I don't know what all work you do in your sleep state. I'm in many different meetings, but I can tell you that in the times that I have seen you, a lot of the things that you are doing have to do with healing work. You are also quite involved with how shall I put this? You have a tendency to work with the grids a great deal that are around the planet, and you do this with um, through your own people, shall we say. But you also do a great deal of healing work as well. Betty, with regards to your dreams, the problem is that there's much more to it than just what you've written. And I'm being told no, meaning I cannot help you in this. The message, you will get the message when the time is right. And it is an important message for you. But the message is strictly for you. So even if I was to access the message, I would not be able to give it. So, but you will do what you need to, and you will get it. Peter, what will be done to solve the climate's rapid deterioration? It is not deteriorating as badly as you think it is. It is going through a shift and a change, which is actually a natural occurrence on this planet. Betty, you want to know if there are others here who are of an evil nature or dark nature, and if it is their purpose to stop your path. There are beings of darkness who are starseed, and there are beings of darkness who are what is termed testers, and they will test you. They are not out to try and prevent you from doing what you are here to do, but they will test you. There are certain individual beings who are attempting to prevent certain starseed from accomplishing what they are here to do. But generally, the answer to your question is generally no. They are here, but at the core level, they want the same thing as all other starseeds. So, but those of darkness who have been incarnating here on this planet, their time is coming to a completion, to a close. So, those who are currently incarnated will not be back. Those who are not incarnated but who has been incarnating on this planet, they will not be returning either. So Sarah, can you alter your DNA to 3-strand DNA? No, not here. That is not something that the physical human body on this planet would deal with. It is a known quantity, if you will, with a couple of different species in the universe, but not with the human bodies that are on this planet. No. Stacy, someone reckons it's ascension time on the 21st of March. They're preparing for us to move onto another dimension. What are your thoughts on this person? I have no thoughts on that person. The actual, what you have put down here, that the ascension is going to happen on the 21st of March, I think is hilarious, and I will be laughing myself on that date when I see people who are thinking it's going to happen and it doesn't happen. But that's me. That's what I like to do. The ascension is not happening on March 21st. It's not happening this year. It's not happening in the next 5 years or 10 years or 20 years or in the next 50 years. You're not here as starseed to go through the ascension because you have already gone through the ascension on another planet. And this is not something where you go, well, we've been through the ascension on this world. Let's find another world to do that again. It's not like a roller coaster ride where you go back and do the ride over and over again. Well, the activations that I was referring to back with regards to the DNA activations will actually be from the God Star, and it is different from the one you are referring to. I am going to take one last question from Becky. Could you tell me, do I come from Jupiter? I was told I was just curious, please, and thank you. No, you don't come from Jupiter. You come from a world much, much further away. All of my love to each and every one of you. We are here to assist you. We are here in love to you and in service to you, and we appreciate and honor you for what you are here doing. Please understand and know that you are not alone in any way, shape, or form. We are always with you. We are always supporting you. We are always doing whatever we can to assist you. Be at peace. Realize you do not lack anything. And please focus on simply being your authentic self. Much love to all of you. Toro tamae para tomatai.